a terrorist group.
Oh, it isn't, ma'am.
First,
Hi, ma'am. What brings you out to this demonstration today?
Well, with everything that's going on in Gaza and Palestine, we're here to support our people.
What do you make of what happened last week in Israel that seems to be the trigger for the incursion into Gaza City?
I don't care. For the last 75 years, our people have been dying on Israel's hands. So, you know what? It doesn't matter.
Talking about Hamas while discrediting Palestinian lives is the upholding of white supremacy.
everything that they do is justified.
Including what happened last week?
Every single thing they have done is justified.
Islam doesn't allow us to kill babies, children, and all that. There are rules for the war, so that's what
Those non-Muslim terrorists last week in Israel?
I just don't want to comment on that.
Canada deems Hamas a terrorist organization.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Oh, you
Canada,
don't?
Yeah, so Canada does not deem Israel a terrorist or a terrorist country.
Are they the same?
As Muslims, they cannot kill children and they cannot kill women.
So what happened last week?
What happened last week is that you need to fucking educate yourself.
David Menzies for Rebel News here in Celebration Square in Mississauga, Ontario. And what, pray tell, is being celebrated today? Well, behind me there are about, I'd estimate, 200 demonstrators who are essentially celebrating the massacre of some 1,300 Israeli citizens. They are celebrating the terrorist group Hamas. They are celebrating the ongoing carnage in Israel and Gaza. And I mean, the signs are very telling. Down with Israeli apartheid, denounce murderous Zionist war on Gaza. And yet it was only 1 week ago today, folks, that we saw that bloodbath erupt in Israel when innocent Israel civilians were literally butchered in the street, raped, kidnapped, even reports of babies being beheaded. And again, I stress, I am in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, not Ramallah, not Gaza City. And yet, contrasting this to what we saw in Ottawa last year with the trucker convoy, don't expect blackface to infer that these people are Nazis, even though Hamas, I think, meets the definition of an Islamo-Nazi group. And don't expect anyone here to have their bank accounts frozen, and certainly don't expect anyone here to be arrested and put in solitary Tamara Leach style. The double standard is downright appalling, is it not? Well, folks, one of the reasons we're here today is that you really can't expect the mainstream media to tell the truth. Heck, CBC won't even refer to a terrorist organization as a terrorist organization. Can you kindly go to journalistdefensefund.com, that's journalistdefensefund.com, and make a donation? I'm here with 3 security guards today. That's to ensure my safety and the safety of my cameraman, Efron. There are people here that are wearing trouble on their shirts, not just the pro-Hamas people, but as usual, the Antifa types are here. So again, if you can help us out with our expenses, that's journalistdefensefund.com. Thank you. In any event, let's wade into the crowd and see if any of them will come on camera to justify what it is they are trying to do here.
7, 8. 5, 6, 7, 8. Israel is a terrorist state. Israel is a terrorist state.
Yeah, but we've been trying to just adapt and move forward. We just want peace and we want love and we want to be able to live free without being under occupation. And
you know, sir, I think any reasonable person wants peace. What did you make of what happened a week ago today in Israel with the slaughter of 1,300 plus Israelis?
To be honest with you, with the way everything has been, with Israel taking over the land and pushing people further and further, with everything being pushed.
Can I speak to you for a second? Thank you so much. So we have specific media people to talk to them.
Okay.
Can you please?
Yeah. Okay.
We can redirect you to the media people over there.
Oh, they never show up, ma'am, but
I can direct you there.
so are you people going to...
Media people?
Yeah, we have media people if you want.
I'm happy to talk to them. I'm right here.
Well, we'd like to redirect you there.
Okay, then. Well, as you saw, we were having a polite conversation, and just like Thanksgiving Day at Nathan Phillips Square in Toronto, we have these people. They're typically female, they're typically young, they're typically wearing face diapers, and they shut down the interviews. Now, if this is a public demonstration, I would assume you would want to communicate your position, but I guess they're so terrified of people not being able to articulate their opinion that they might say something offside, that they would rather shut down freedom of speech. It is just absolutely baffling. But and there's more of these yellow jacket people gathering here as well. So I'll try to go to the periphery, because obviously when we get close to the critical mass of demonstrators, they don't like that. It's like a little bit of, I don't know, the Gaza Strip is in Canada right now. In other words, shutting down the free press. Hello, ma'am. Can you tell me what brings you out here today?
For people of the Gaza.
For people.
Yeah, you can see. We stand for human rights.
Okay, then. Well, certainly anyone who's reasonable stands up for human rights. What do you make of what occurred last week in Israel?
I'm sorry, both sides I can.
Sorry بصير أقاطعك بس لثانية واحدة. عندنا ناس ما بيقدروا يحكوا.
Shutting down the interview again.
يحكوا مع الميديا. إذا ما عندك أي مشكلة لو سمحتي.
I'm sorry, I don't understand Arabic.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Then can I speak to you for a second over here?
Sure, sorry.
All right then, no problem.
Don't speak to them.
No? Isn't part of a protest, ma'am, trying to articulate what you are indeed protesting? No. How about yourself, ma'am? What brings you out here today? It's very odd, isn't it? I mean, usually a demonstration, people are overflowing with opinions and points of view, but they are not allowing it here, just like at Nathan Phillips Square. What does that tell you? Another thing you'll notice, when you contrast the demonstrations, the pro-Hamas demonstration versus a pro-Israel demonstration, at the Israel demonstrations you see a smattering of Canadian flags as well as the flag of Israel. And here, yet again, I do not see one single solitary Canadian flag. I think I can make an assumption as to where the allegiances of these people lie. Hey ma'am, I was just reading your sign, no pride in genocide. What does that mean exactly?
I feel I don't want to comment on this because I know Rebel News is a very conservative-leaning media platform, and I'm afraid that you'll twist my words. So,
well, you have the floor. I'll let you speak, unless these.
I really don't want to engage because I don't trust Rebel News.
Okay then. Doesn't trust us, folks. The typical Antifa tactic is on display. That is an umbrella. I mean, it's a bit of a gray day in Mississauga today, but there's almost 0% chance of rain. Isn't it odd how the Antifa types always have their umbrellas out? I guess they're worried about a freak rain shower to occur. Or could it be that the umbrella is there for another reason, to block the camera ends, or even be weaponized? It's happened before. Okay, so I'm reading a sign here, folks. It says, "Shame on Canada, shame on Trudeau, Olivia Chow leaders. If you don't call for a ceasefire, you are endorsing Israel to massacre 2 million plus innocent Palestinian civilians in the following weeks." Hi, ma'am, is that your concern, that 2 million Palestinians are going to be massacred by the IDF?
We know that they're in an open-air prison. They cannot leave. They do not have water. They cannot leave. They will be waiting for their death. They're awaiting the bombs to rain down on their families.
In terms of not being able to leave, isn't that the fault of Hamas? They are blocking Palestinians in Gaza City from leaving, are they not?
Hamas is a distraction from Palestinian lives. Everyone's talking about Hamas to equate Palestinian lives to terrorism.
But ma'am, with respect, how can we not talk about Hamas? You are well aware of the massacre that happened last week in Israel, are you not?
This is diverting the topic, and we all know it.
Diverting isn't that the crux of the matter? Over 1,300 Israeli civilians were massacred.
The death toll of Palestinians have surpassed the ones of Israelis.
Okay, then, but when it comes to laying blame for what's happening right now in Gaza, this was triggered by the events of last week. Otherwise, we'd still be in relative peace, would we not?
You're asking the wrong questions. Ask why 600 Palestinian children were killed through white phosphorus gas bombs instead.
Tell me, ma'am, too, Hamas is recognized by the Canadian government, as well as many other governments, as a terrorist organization. Would you like to see Hamas removed from that list?
Hamas is out of the question. What needs to happen right now in terms of Canada is a ceasefire.
But how can there be a ceasefire if Hamas is doing these kinds of acts of atrocities? And again, I ask you with all respect, should they be still recognized as a terrorist organization?
Hamas's power is nothing. Israel has cut off water supplies, electricity, and fuel from Palestinians. They cannot leave. This has nothing to do with Hamas. This has to do with innocent children getting white phosphorus gas bombs, a war crime known since like World War I, World War II.
Well, if we go down that road, ma'am, is there some blame for Egypt here? They're not letting any Gazans into their country.
It is not Egypt's responsibility to allow Palestinians to go there. The problem here is that Israel has been a 78-year occupation on Gaza, nearly a century of violence against Palestinian innocent children and families. Why aren't we talking about this near decade, near century long of oppression, of dominance, of massacre over the last near century?
Ma'am, when you use the word massacre, is there not a difference between a deliberate act of terrorism, killing innocent civilians, versus collateral damage by the IDF doing, say, an airstrike?
Once again, talking about Hamas while discrediting Palestinian lives is the upholding of white supremacy, and it's part of colonialism as well. So,
white supremacy? I'm not sure I connect the dots there, and colonialism. What do you mean by that?
I'm sorry, unfortunately, I have to go.
Okay, thank you for your time. Hi, sir, I'm just reading your sign. The sign said, "From Turtle Island to Palestine, occupation is a crime." I guess there's some alliteration there, it rhymes, but again, he wasn't interested at all in terms of trying to articulate his point. Hi, ma'am. What brings you out to this demonstration today?
Well, with everything that's going on in Gaza and Palestine, we're here to support our people.
What do you make of what happened last week in Israel that seems to be the trigger for the incursion into Gaza City?
I don't care. For the last 75 years, our people have been dying on Israel's hands. So, you know what? It doesn't matter. Right now, our focus is on saving Gaza. There's no water, no electricity, no food, no help, nothing. And Israel is bombing them, left, right, and center. They just asked 1.2 million people to move from the north to the south. And they're bombing them as they go.
But ma'am, isn't this
I'm done. I don't want to talk about Israel. We're here for Palestine.
Okay. What brings you out to this demonstration today?
We're here to support Palestinian people, which the Israeli people kill them every day, kill the kids, kill the senior, kill everybody there.
And yet, ma'am, I guess what triggered this incursion...
Which TV you are?
It's
Sorry.
Rebel News, ma'am.
From?
Oh, we're based in Toronto.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. And what's triggered this invasion into Gaza is what happened a week ago today in Israel. What do you make of that?
Actually, what happened in general, not starting from 1 week ago, it started from 1948. Okay. From the first day Israel come and occupied our land and kick us out. Okay, and thank you so much.
Oh, okay then. Have a good day. As you can hear behind me, folks, tons and tons of horn honking. I don't mind that, but you know who does mind that? It'd be none other than Yara Sachs, the Liberal MP for York Centre. Do you remember last year when she had this to say about horn honking?
How much vitriol do we have to see of honk honk, which is an acronym for Hail Hitler, do we need to see by these protesters on social media.
Yeah, so those Freedom Convoy people with their liberal use of the horn, that was an acronym for Heil Hitler. First of all, this woman doesn't even know what the word acronym means, but if that is indeed true, if honking your horn is a way of conveying Heil Hitler, well, I'll tell you, there's a whole lot of Heil Hitlering going on right here, folks. But again, don't expect Yarosaks or anyone else in the blackface regime to condemn these people. Certainly what's happening in Gaza City, this is a direct result of just a week ago today when Hamas terrorists went into Israel and massacred 1,300 people, probably took more than 150 hostages. Don't they wear the blame for what's happening today?
But how about Israel from 60 years? They attack on Palestine from 60 years. So how about that? They always doing. That's why, and they are praying in the masjid, in the mosque, and they're attacking. So that's totally wrong.
Do you support Hamas? Do you think they should be taken off the Canadian government's list of a recognized terror organization?
I don't support any fight. I support peace.
Okay.
So Israel have to stop this because they have most power. So many countries standing with Israel. So they shouldn't do that. They should always fight for the peace. Everyone want peace.
But would you not agree, sir, that Israel has the right to defend itself given the events of last week?
No, they didn't. No, because they're doing from many years. How about that? From 60 years they keep doing that. So no media, no one is standing to stop that.
They say Israelis have the right to self-defense, but they never talk that about the Palestinians. So the U.S. is the main problem. If the U.S. doesn't support Israel, the problem will be solved tomorrow.
Sir, can you say the Canadian government recognizes Hamas as a terror group? Would you like to see Hamas taken off that list?
Yeah, well, what I'm saying, if they recognize Hamas as a terrorist group, they should recognize also the Israeli army as a terrorist state-sponsored group, but they don't do the same. I don't agree with terrorism from any side, but I mean, state terrorism army is much worse than terrorist small group because they kill, hundreds of thousands. You know how many Palestinians has been killed since 1948? 100,000. And maybe Israeli less than 10,000. See, this is like 10 for each one. So state terrorism, like Israeli army, is much worse than small terrorist group.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes. Hamas is not a terrorist group.
Oh, it isn't, ma'am.
First of all, Hamas is not a terrorist group. Hamas is not a terrorist group.
What is it, like a motorcycle club?
It is a resistance that has been fuming for 75 years of colonialism, of occupation, of murder, of rape, of little children, of women. That's what they are. They are resistance.
Do you think Canada is a colonialist country too?
Everything that they do is justified.
Including what happened last week?
Every single thing they have done is justified.
Ma'am, there were children murdered, there were babies beheaded.
Babies beheaded, really? Please educate yourself.
Well,
please check the news, because as a news reporter, you gotta check the fucking news, because they said that shit was fake, okay? Multiple times. Different channels, even Biden himself, his ministers and his idiots said himself that news was fake. So there's no 40 beheaded babies.
And there were no 1,300 deaths in Israel?
There's no evidence, there's no photos whatsoever. Hamas is a Muslim group. They would never do that because it's against Islam. That's number one. And that's something that they show.
Do you really believe that?
There is evidence of Israeli women saying that they gave us water, they gave us food, they gave us a place to sleep comfortably. They gave us clothes. They got them to cover up out of respect. This is actual women having interviews talking about when they were hostages or when they were taking in, when Hamas members were coming into their house. These are actual Israeli women saying this is how they were. Even at some point, a Hamas fighter told one of the women, "Can I have a banana?" to eat. He asked if he could eat a banana that was in her home. Does that sound like a fucking terrorist to you?
Well, maybe if you're on the other end of a gun being brandished, you're going to give more than a banana, I would think. But ma'am, you're saying that more than 30. You are denying. With respect, I'll listen to your answer. You're denying 1,300 people died.
As Muslims, they cannot kill children and they cannot kill women.
So what happened last week?
What happened last week is that you need to fucking educate yourself, because there is no 40 beheaded babies. There is no women getting raped and taken out into the street. There's none of that.
What is the source of your information?
I'm sorry?
What is the source of your information?
Oh, honey, I will give you all the fucking information you need. You want it right now? Because I can give you all of that right now.
Give me a website, I'll go to it, but...
Give me 10 minutes, I'll give you all the sources you need.
By the way, are those machine gun earrings dangling her?
Yeah, machine gun earrings. My name is Esther Karam.
Okay.
Okay, I'm 22 years old. I'm a Palestinian. I have no fucking problem saying I support Hamas, because they are the true fighters of Palestine, and they're gonna bring back Palestine, because you guys are fucking white supremacist idiots that need to wake the up.
Sorry, who are the white supremacist idiots?
You are.
Me, okay, gee.
You're using terms like terrorist for... Have you even seen what has been happening in the past 75 years?
Ma'am, several governments recognize Hamas as terrorists.
Have you seen the evidence of what has been happening for 75 years? Have you seen it?
Well, we're talking current events right now. We're talking about the terrorist attack last week and what's happening in Gaza right now.
75 years of all this. Forget 75 years. This year, did you look into how many Palestinians were murdered?
By whom?
Did you look into how many times our mosques have been desecrated? Did you look into how many times our prisoners have been 12-year-old boys have been arrested?
But ma'am, it's well documented that Hamas uses mosques, hospitals, and schools to hide their arsenal.
Documented by who?
Well, it's a matter of fact.
Did you ask the Gazan people if that's what they've seen and that's what they heard? Or is that just white reporters being fucking assholes?
Well, what is race? Sorry, ma'am. What does race have to do with this? You say.
Now you're playing the race card.
No,
right?
you played it. You said, "What do white reporters?" You brought race into this. What does race have to do with this?
What does race? So, do you think this is a religion? Is that you think the issue is religion, right?
No, I'm not even bringing religion into this. I never said the word Muslim. You did several times.
Okay. Racism. Oh my God. I don't know what I'm doing here. I really don't. I don't know why I'm talking to you.
Well, you came to me, man.
I gave you my information. Esther Karam, pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas. Alhamdulillah. Free Palestine from the river to the sea. I hope they all fucking burn in hell.
Wow. That sounds very hateful. And you know what, folks? That is, from the river to the sea. What she just did there is advocate for the end of the state of Israel. Is there not a difference between a terrorist group murdering innocent civilians, which happened last week?
There's a huge difference.
Well, thank you. We agree on that.
Huge difference. The difference is you got how many militants in the IDF are there? Like what? Last time I read, it was like 400,000 Israeli soldiers. Hamas is a group of how many people?
I think it's maybe 30 to 40,000.
34,000, a lot less than that. However, that's the only people defending Palestinians.
Okay.
All right? The only people. Now, make the comparison there.
How are they defending Palestinians, ma'am, by preventing Palestinians from leaving Gaza City?
How is Israel defending their people? Yes, I just want to know, how is Israel defending the innocent lives by killing more innocents? I want to know how.
Well, don't you think the state of Israel has a right to defend itself after what happened last week?
Palestinians. What about Palestinians?
Well, we're going back to last week. What happened?
Before you ask about Israel, funded by U.S., by Canada, by UK, by a lot of other countries. Palestine, nobody's helping. They cut off their water and their food. Can you really ask me?
Well, maybe this is a job for Iran. Iran is the one that is funding Hamas.
Listen,
well, ma'am, that's a matter of fact.
If you're here really to defend Israel and not Palestine, please do not waste anybody's time. Please.
Should I go home?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Well, folks, about an hour after the rally began, Hundreds more have joined. Like I said at the beginning, there was about 200 people originally. Several hundred more have joined the group, and now they are marching on Burnthorpe Road. And you can hear the chants of from the river to the sea. Palestine will be free.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine!
Hi, sir. I see you're a member of the press.
Yes, I'm a member of the press from Calgary.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
What's your media outlet?
It's Express Media Network.
Okay, then. Is this a bit of a conflict for you to be covering a demonstration and taking part in it at the same time?
It's not a conflict. I stand for human rights. I condemn all kind of violence. Doesn't matter who does it. But I'm here to show my support for the Palestine. And what Hamas doing. If they're doing bad, it's bad. But I'm here to support Palestine, cause of Palestine. Just standing up for the human rights.
What is your opinion of what Hamas did last week in Israel, sir?
Hamas, whatever they did, I just don't want to say anything. If they
you don't want to say anything.
I mean, if they did something wrong, I will not support them. But if they're fighting for their cause, I'm here for the cause of Palestine.
And do you? I know the Canadian government recognizes Hamas as a terrorist organization. Yes. Would you like to see them off that list?
That's why I'm not talking about Hamas anything. I'm not. I'm just here.
But sir, that's the crux of the matter. They carried out the massacre in Israel last week, didn't they?
Yeah, the massacres. I will never support any massacre.
Okay.
No way.
But that's what happened.
Massacre, killings. Not allowed. Even Islam doesn't allow us to kill babies, children, and all that. There are rules for the war. So that's what
Those non-Muslim terrorists last week in Israel?
I just don't want to comment on that. I'm here to support the cause of the Palestine. That's all.
But sir, not commenting on that is like not commenting on Japan in after Pearl Harbor. I mean, how can we not comment on that?
Just like I see, I'm overwhelmed whatever is happening, whatever reports are getting, and I will not support killing innocent people.
We don't like any innocent people being killed anywhere. I think that's...
So what happened last week? I mean, you're right. I mean, there's a historical context, but we can be talking till the cows come home on that one. I'm more interested on current events.
But these current events, they've been continuing for 75 years, right? Like 2,000 Palestinian children have been killed over the last 20 years. It's continuous every year. Every few days, a Palestinian child is killed.
But sir, can I ask you this? Is there a difference between a terrorist deliberetely targeting a child for murder versus collateral damage by the IDF?
I think it's all deliberate.
So when the IDF kills a child, is it a deliberate act?
Absolutely.
How could you possibly prove that, sir?
How can you prove anything then? This is not a pro-Hamas protest. There might be people here who do, but that's not the purpose of this protest. It's to stop the ethnic cleansing of Palestine. That's what this is here for. Right? That's it. If there's people here who, because they're emotional, feel a certain way about a certain group, that's different, but that's not the purpose of this protest whatsoever.
Sure. Hi, ma'am. Hi, ma'am. Would you like to discuss why you're here at this event today?
No, thank you.
Oh, okay then. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Do you mind not? Don't record me.
Oh, but you came to us, ma'am.
No, you came to our program.
I came to your parade.
Nobody speaking.
Oh, your face diaper came off. So, sir, what does this illustration mean exactly?
What does my illustration mean?
Yeah.
Can you not see what it means?
Well, yeah, it shows.
They say a word speaks more than 1,000 words. Okay. A picture speaks more than 1,000 words.
Well, I'm just trying to get
I think this picture speaks 1,000,000 words. Okay. I'm not going to say anything. I'll let my photo speak for itself.
But, sir, we have our own state broadcaster, CBC, won't even permit its journalists to call Hamas terrorists, even though they're recognized as terrorists by the federal government.
بحكي عربي لو سمحتي ابعد عني. It's okay. لا إله إلا الله عمي. Please.
Can you give him some? Can you give him some space?
Yeah. Listen, can you give me some space? Okay, you don't need to laugh at a woman. That's inappropriate.
Really?
Yeah, they're very inappropriate. Laughing at a woman like that on the street is inappropriate.
There's many female stand-up comedians.
A punk. You are a punk.
Why are you being like that, sir?
Why am I being like that? Because I don't like punks.
You seem very angry today, and we're just trying to have a peaceful discussion.
Sure. Okay, before you continue. Okay. We cannot start the clock last Saturday. If you start the clock last Saturday, I'm not even going to complete this conversation. Okay. Because that all that says is that you don't look at Palestinians as human beings. The fact that the past 75 years are irrelevant to you to what happened on Saturday.
Well, I never said that. Okay. But I think Hamas is doing the Palestinians in Gaza a disservice. They're not allowing them to leave Gaza City.
Where are you from?
Born right here. Unbelievable.
Born in Toronto, lived in Toronto your whole life.
I'm an anomaly.
Perfect. Okay.
When did you come to Canada, sir?
In the year 2000.
And what made you come here?
My father immigrated here.
Okay, then.
Yes, looking for a better life. Because of that.
Did you get a better life here? Or?
Absolutely, I did.
Okay.
Of course.
I'm happy for you.
Of course, yeah. Okay. Canada is a great country, man.
Okay. And Canada deems Hamas a terrorist organization.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
Oh,
Canada,
you don't?
Yeah, no, so Canada does not deem Israel a terrorist country.
Are they the same?
No. So Canada does not deem when Israel commits terrorism, the cruelty and the disgusting, despicable acts of Israelis against Palestinians on daily basis, whether in Gaza and the shit they're doing to them in the Western Bank. Hitler tried to exterminate Jewish people in Europe and failed. Netanyahu is trying to exterminate Palestinian people in Gaza, and he will fail.
At the end of the day, folks, I think in light of what happened last week in Israel and what took place here today in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, I think we have to ask some very hard questions. First and foremost, we must question our immigration policy. Are we allowing people into our country that simply do not subscribe to Western values? And what about those in the federal government? We have Omar Al-Gabra. He has professed his support in the past for Hamas and Hezbollah. He has bemoaned the fact that Ontario is not under Sharia law. He has condemned a police chief for marching in a pro-Israel rally, and yet he's still part of the federal government.
My name's Lincoln J. I work with Rebel News. Just one quick question. Do you condemn the recent terrorist attacks committed by Hamas? Do you condemn the terrorist attacks committed by Hamas? Why do you think so many people here in Canada are trying to justify these terrorist attacks? You have no comments.
In any event, post-Holocaust, a saying came into existence, namely, never again. And I feel, especially for members of the Jewish community, when you see the kind of hatred on display here, is never again a forgotten phrase? Are we actually seeing support for a Holocaust, another Holocaust that is, by those who deny the existence of the original one? For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Folks, are you as horrified as we are regarding the events last weekend in Israel? If so, please sign our petition. That is CanadaStandsWithIsrael.com. CanadaStandsWithIsrael.com. Send a message that enough is enough.